Well, what do we got? We got the FreeTiger. FreeTiger is an interesting knife brand. I've kind of been following them for several years. The first one I had tested, I can't remember the name of the model number, but I had it tested. It said it was D2, and it was real D2. So and I can't remember if I've had any others tested subsequently, but they're very inexpensive. This one's like $23. Okay, this is the FT2103, and I got this, and I knew I liked the design, and I was kind of interested, and I thought, you know, when I got it in my hand, I thought, this just seems like a familiar look to me, you know. And then I posted it on my Instagram, and the guy says, Asher Nomad 2.0. Check that out. And I go, okay. I mean, the Asher Nomad's different in this regard. And of course, it's got S35VN blade steel, not D2, and some other very small differences. But yes, it looks very much like the Asher Nomad 2. And you know, there was another knife that I saw on Amazon that looked almost like a dead-on copy of the Asher Nomad 2 that was D2. And I kept thinking I had that tested, and I have that in a batch, and I'll put that batch number down here, but it wasn't a FreeTiger knife. So I don't know if this is an homage. I don't know if this is kind of mostly inspired by the Nomad 2, or if they weren't really thinking about it at all. It just happened. You know, I don't know. But this is a D2 knife, very inexpensive, but it's not a super steel like the Asher knife is. And let's see if it'll cut some. Okay. But I've never known FreeTiger to copy anybody else's design that I'm aware of. So this would be kind of strange if they had intentionally done so. It's the FT2103 GR. I got mine on Amazon, and here's kind of the tip sheet on it right here. Gifts for dad and husbands. Okay. And so, yeah, black, green, I don't know what this one's doing in that mix, but $23.99. Here's the information on that. And also it says sold by Gear Mart. And then the brand, the color, the handle material. It says fiberglass. It looks like G10 to me. It says G10. Okay. And 7.87 inches overall length, 3.43, that kind of thing. So let's take a closer look at it. It's, you know, a piston type lock, axis type lock knife. It's got ambidextrous thumb studs on it, so you can middle finger flick it, thumb flick it, or just use this piston lock, axis lock type mechanism with it. You know, it looks like a pretty decent grind on the blade. And yeah, the plunge looks pretty good. I mean, it's not wobbling, or it doesn't have any play in it per se. And let's get tape on here. Well, okay. A little bit longer blade than I kind of thought, although they said 3.43, which is probably about right. You know, 82, 83 millimeter, overall 7.5 inches at 19 centimeters. Let's look at the thickness. 12 millimeter at 0.47 and 0.08 at 2.2 millimeter blade thickness. Now let's roll that around, see if that plays out on this. Yeah, a little over, you know, about 0.08 at, yeah, 2.1 millimeter blade thickness. So not a terribly thick blade steel. So it should be good for, slicing. It feels pretty sharp, piercing, and, just all around carry. It doesn't have a backspacer on it, but it does have a lanyard hole in it. The hardware looks pretty standard type of stuff. G10 looks reasonably grippy. Inside, fit and finish. It's okay on this knife in most places, but where they missed is the inside edges of here. That's kind of sharp. And also, I thought, what are these little pins sticking through here? Well, that's for the spring. So I guess if you wanted, you could take the spring out and clip just a little bit of that end so it doesn't protrude through. And I took a picture of that and I sent it to the people at FreeTiger. They got an Instagram account. So I direct messaged them and said, look at this. This is strange. And they said, ooh, no, that's not right. We're going to look into that. So apparently that's what I got, though. And, it doesn't seem like it's affecting anything because it's not touching the blade in any way, but it's just kind of an odd situation that they kind of made that spring a little longer than they needed to make it, because the Omega spring kicks over here and then runs, and we'll take at least one of the covers off and take a look. But yeah, that's what's going on there. And here's our stop, which looks pretty thick, actually. Overall, it's an interesting knife. It's kind of interesting how they did this pocket clip. And I had the pocket clip, obviously. I'm pressed up here. I probably need to tighten these screws because it's not embedded in here. They don't have an area machined out for that. So I probably, for some reason, yeah, it was loose. Okay, sorry. But the pocket clip, come here. And you too. Okay, there we go. Now, is it going to move? No. Okay. So the pocket clip is deep carry. The screws, though, they got a little, they're not flat, so they take up a little bit of the space in there. And then you've got a screw back behind there that comes through the standoff, which, on the other hand, could you have taken this pocket clip, moved it, made that screw match that screw, and just had the pocket clip start here? And then the second, get rid of one of these holes, right? And then this would be even deeper carry by moving it over there. I mean, to me, that's what I would have looked at doing. And that way, first of all, I don't know if I need it at this angle. I mean, just a straight up and down would do, okay? You see what I'm saying? So, to me, I'm not sure I'm feeling that. The overall design of the knife, okay, and it's $23, so can I afford to disassemble this or just take a little bit of maybe one of my diamond stones and hit along these edges here to kind of round them out a little bit more? Okay, or just leave it as is. It's not going to cut me or anything. It's just, it's not as chamfered or whatever as if that I think they should have done on this knife, okay? Otherwise, I'm not touching any sharp edges, and it looks like they work the scales pretty well. The liners look pretty thick and hardy. The standoffs look adequate, if not overdone maybe a little bit. They're overbuilt, but that's pretty tough. So how will this knife hold up over time? Don't know, but it's, it's your typical piston lock knife with Omega springs and, a D2 blade. So for the $23, are you going to get hurt? I don't think so. But I just thought I'd throw it out here because I thought it was an interesting addition to their lineup, and I'm going to try and keep up a little bit on the FreeTiger line, because some of their first ones that came out, I was very, very intrigued by. And where's our ergos? Well, and we're kind of following up the back here. But okay, we can get them all on there, and it's pretty neutral here, so the ergos are reasonably good. Reverse grip as well. You got this breakaway here because you do that when you do a lot of these piston lock knives. It pushes this out here, way out in front, this stop, and so that means you gotta end the blade right there. Could they have extended this and then had this kind of come and wrap around? Probably not, since that stop pin's so close to the top of the frame. So I guess it has to be where it is. Blade to handle length is pretty good. It's pretty decent. So, and it's centered up. The action's pretty good. Not bad in and out of the pocket. Not an issue there. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's intriguing. It's not my favorite FreeTiger design, but it's interesting that they did this piston lock. It's not like some of the earlier ones necessarily that were flippers, but, you know, look at that. I'm sure it's probably got bearings on it, that's for sure. Okay, so now we've got both sides turning, so we got to break them apart. Okay, let's see if we can break this. I got both sides turning on here. Oh, we got her locked down pretty good, don't we? Got my little Merryman tool on the back here. Right here. That's pretty nice to have around. And that way I could get this out. And you think they put enough on there? Whew. Lord, I guess they did. So I guess it's a round pivot, which I guess, I mean, you got to cut corners, I guess, if you're going to get to the $23 retail end of it. So not exactly a D-shaped pivot that I can see. We'll know more when we get this out. At least these screws are coming out, which means we should be able to, let me see, are those the same size? Yeah, those are the same size. Should be able to see the omega springs. And so here's the presentation side. Here's the omega springs. It's like they could have maybe pushed this down a little bit more aggressively, like that. So it should have really been set down there a little harder. But yeah, I'm not seeing okay, there's this. I'm not seeing a D-shaped pivot or anything. So there's a spring on the presentation side. And of course I can't take this off. But there's the inside. I'm thinking that's bearings. Yeah, this area here could get cut down just a little bit, but I don't know that I want to do that. Well, I took a little bit more off. Okay, now let's see what we got. And let's get that buried like it should have been to begin with. Kick that in that hole. And let's push this spring down where it should be. And without disconnecting it from this place right here. Okay. Now we got you. Okay. Are we good? Okay. Talk about, we had some thread locker on there. That took some hossing down, and it's going to take maybe a little bit to put it back into place because we still got some thread locker on there. And then we're going to put these little babies back in here because they need to go back right in here and in here. And these are number 6s. Okay, let's get this screwed down the rest of the way, and I gotta hold this one together just to make sure I've got it where I need to have it. I don't want to get it locked down too hard. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. Now let's see if we got play. No, no play. Let's see if we got it centered. All right, we're back with the 2103 FreeTiger. Interesting design, like little easy carry, D2 blade, you know, very inexpensive. So for that, yeah, is it worth 23 bucks? Sure, I guess. Here's the thing. You know, these little things you might want to pull out and snip them back just a tad. Don't get too enthusiastic about it. But you could do that and make them more flush than they are now as far as the spring ends. They had plenty of thread locker on that. I wasn't pleased about that necessarily. And then, you know, the insides of these liners need to be smoothed and chamfered a little bit. Other than that, you know, a pretty fair knife considering the price. I mean, easy to operate. It's centered. I'm not getting any play. It seems relatively sharp out of the box. And you can get it on Amazon. It can be delivered within a few days. So that's good as well. I'm going to leave you to it. FreeTiger, just another model from them in the budget range, extreme budget range. And we love them knives, so you guys stay sharp.